Hi, gorgeous. Welcome back to Queen Flow. Really excited to share today's impromptu episode with you. I have quite a few things to cover. We got some juice. So, y'all know I'm always tuning into the frequencies and what exactly is going on. And we have certainly been given a preview on the internet to what is coming in 2026. So, I'm going to be diving into fear mongering on the internet, specifically in the industry that I'm in, and what to do about it because it is time to practice some discernment. And this was initiated by a post that I saw from someone who's quite well known. I actually take no issue with her. I really don't know her at all. But the post popped up in my Explorer page and essentially said, like, if you don't do these things in 2026, your social media presence will cease to exist. And I was like, wow, 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 wow. Okay, girl. Like, I totally get coming, bringing forward a highly opinionated message for clicks, for engagement, for all the things. But I was like, is this really the frequency that we want to encourage our people to build our businesses off of? I actually listened to the podcast episode to see what was said before I reflected on it. And I'm going to share my genuine reflections on what was showcased and just in this general theme of like, if you don't do this, like you will die and you will not have a company. Because a lot of people move from fear rather than moving from alignment when it comes to how they scale their company, how they invest in their company, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, if we want to see big results, that alignment piece has to be there. So I do actually dive into the specifics of what was said and my take as well. And then, so of course, we get into what you actually need to know about scaling your company in 2026 versus what you're going to be told, and just generally not buying into like black and white ways of thinking being for growing a company. But I'll dive into all of that in a minute. And then, of course, the themes around the strip down season that we have seen occurring all of 2025 with some personal updates for you on that front and what it's meant for me in my personal life, inside my company, and so much more as well. So I'm really excited for you to tune into this one. I love those episodes that just like hit me like a spark in the night and it's like, oh my God, we've got to like hit record right now. This is definitely one of those, and y'all tend to love those the most. So this is going to be great. I also want to announce that the Golden Door holiday sale is here. So you have three choices: door number one, door number two, door number three. Door number one is going to be on the Golden Era Intensive. So, this is going to be your opportunity to have a 60-minute call with me or a week of Telegram together. You get to choose which one you desire for how you desire to be mentored, at what pace, et cetera, et cetera. And that is going to be, well, what's cool is like I'm actually including the audit form that I normally include in the Effortless Flow Intensive. It has been further built out. I was previously calling it the Brand to Bank audit. I'm giving it a new name though, that is more kind of like reflective because, just like more in the frequency of my brand. But essentially, the audit is exactly the same. It's literally 45 questions. We go very deep on you, your company, your offers, your energetics, like how people are responding to you, what's going well, what's not, and like really helping you identify your signature edge, your highest point of luxury client attraction. And those energetic and strategic shifts, they're going to bring you deeper into alignment and, of course, help you position your brand, your offers, all the different things, and like open up your money pathways as well in ways where like you're going to really be supported and shining, which obviously is going to continue to be important as you scale your company so that you are not blending in with the rest and then you don't wind up trying to like compete on visibility and posting 6,000 times a day and losing your mind when really we just want to like increase potency. So that that intake form you'll complete prior to our session or prior to our Telegram week, so I have time to actually go over everything in high levels of detail. So I really have all the intel on all your positioning, your frameworks, your methodologies, your sales pages, your content, what people are responding to, what they're not, what's feeling easy for you, what's feeling hard. And so that I can come in like highly informed on your company and we can just get to work and not waste any time with you needing to explain things. Like your girl loves efficiency over here. So then once you do that, and the ones I've completed so far have just been, oh, so illuminating, so good, then you will have a private 60-minute call with me, or you can choose a week of Telegram, which will be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Right now, you are able to join that at a one-time price. The link is going to be in episode notes. Door number two is your opportunity to say 555 when you join the revolution. So if you are currently invested in an offer that has credits available, so either anything you've purchased in the past 30 days or Magnify, Manifest, Receive, Overflow, or the Secret Money membership, you're also able to add this 555 Golden Door sale savings to whatever you have invested. Or of course, if you're coming in fresh, just use Golden Door 555 at checkout to join us inside the Revolution. The Revolution is I just love it. The Revolution is my mastermind where you are going to get the high touch, individually attuned, strategic, and energetic mentorship that is going to support you in scaling Relax Millions your way. I really want to emphasize because there's this wave of everything goes in trends in the online space where like these masterminds are now like 100, 200 people and you're basically just paying to like be in the room, but not really to get support growing your company. That is not what my rooms are about. That is not how I offer mentorship. People need actual hands-on mentorship if they want to get results. And I know that my clients are investing to be in my world because they actually want my eyes on their businesses, on their energetics, and really, especially seeing so much of the gap between where you are and where you're going is actually just really seeing your points of unrecognized power. Like we just cannot see ourselves the way that someone else who's able to see you is able to hold up that mirror and see you. And then very importantly, teach you how to articulate that across your brand. So that feeling that you have where like your money's not matching your power and it's not matching the results that you get inside your world. Your girl is a pro at helping you close that gap. So come inside the Revolution. This is going to be for you if you're stepping into multiple 5-figure, 6-figure months. You will receive the full premium feminine business and limitless wealth creation product suite. We have twice monthly hot seat coaching calls. And then we are going to have our next 6 weeks intensive mastermind. That would normally be a $5,000 investment on its own, kicking off in early 2026. So you're going to be in time for that as well. And that's in addition to the calls that we have. And then you also receive an effortless flow intensive with 12 months pay in full, which you will get that same intake form that I need to rename. And then it will also come with a 90-minute call and a day in Telegram together after that call. That investment is normally $2,222 standalone. So that's door number 2. Door number 3 is the Revolution. Not the Revolution, I just said the Revolution. I'm having one of those days. I mean, the energetics have been wilder. I'm like, what is happening with my brain? Okay. Door number 3 is for Fempire. So Fempire is the Queen's Room. It is the highest touch mastermind in my world. It is going to be for you if you're desiring to step into 20K to 100K cash months. And the difference with the Revolution will be that it is a smaller group. It also has Telegram access to me Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. You receive everything inside the Revolution, everything inside Secret Money, including the content access as well as the support should you desire to plug in. But for Fempire, we also have our own twice monthly hot seat coaching calls, and you have Telegram access to me Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And this is, again, a very like hands-on space, which all of my mentorship spaces are. This is why my clients are getting such incredible results, even though I believe there's a lot to be learned through osmosis. Like, let's be real, that we want help. You know what I mean? Like, we just want to speed up that timeline. So if you're going to invest in a proximity space, then I'm going to be fully available to support you. Otherwise, I am not going to offer it, meaning on the days that I'm in. So we also have you have an exclusive content library inside Fempire as well that is specific to scaling 20K to 100K months. And you have a feminine healing and receiving portal, and it's just the fucking vibe. Madison, who is now inside Fempire, who was previously in the Revolution, she was just on the show. I believe this episode right before this one. And I was celebrating how she had started her business in January of 2025 inside the Revolution. She just celebrated her first 25K cash month in September. And here we are in November. It is currently, as I'm recording this, November 25th. And she is just currently celebrating a $90,000 sales month. Like, the results just keep compounding. And she was joking by, like, the girl is well on her way to making in a month what she used to make in her corporate salary in a year. And she was like at one time afraid to leave that job. So that's just like, doesn't it go like this? But anyway, the results just continue to be profound. Another one of my clients inside Vampire, when she started working with me, she came in at 10K months. quickly got her to 20K cash months. She's recently celebrated a 20K week. Like, we're just rocking and rolling. It's a highly intimate space. It's one of those things where it's like, if you know, you know. Right now, we do have a Golden Door sale opportunity to get in. So when you join at Fempire currently, you will receive up to $6,000 in savings, depending on which investment option you choose. There are savings with both, with 6 months or 12 months. And then with Pay in Full for 6 months, you will receive the Effortless Flow Intensive, which is going to be the private call and then a day in Telegram, private day in Telegram to have the following day. And then with 12 months, you'll receive 2 private calls, and then you're able to use those anytime throughout your time in the space. So this is absolutely the largest sale of the year that I offer for joining us inside Fempire. So if you have been circling around my world and you're in any spaces where you would desire to upgrade, now is the time to make your move and to walk with me inside 2026 and be one of the women on the internet who is continuing to have outstanding results like my clients are, no matter what anybody is saying about the market and how things have changed, blah, blah, blah. Your girl is always 10 steps ahead of the game. But instead of it meaning you doing 6,000 things and wearing yourself out, you make more money doing less and you feel good and it's a fucking vibe. So that's door number 1. Door number 2, door number 3. For Fempire, if you would like the full details to chat about it being a good fit for you, please go ahead and send me a message on Instagram. Jocelyn.kelly.reed is my handle, or you can email assistant@jocelynkellyreed.com. The links as well as the code for the revolution are in episode notes, and then the link to your Golden Era Intensive is also in episode notes. I love you so much. Enjoy the episode, and of course, just shoot me a DM if you have any questions. Hello, beauty. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I want to remind you that the Golden Door sale is currently live. This is our biggest holiday sale of the year. So you have 3 options: Golden Door 1, door number 2, door number 3. Door number 1 is going to be your Golden Era Intensive. You are going to complete a very in-depth audit form that literally covers every nook and cranny of your business, so I can potently see the strategies, the positioning, the frameworks, the messaging, the energetics, like everything that is going on within you and within your company, and support you in really pulling out like your signature edge, how all of your spaces are going to shine in ways that feel in deeper alignment to you, closing that gap on that feeling of like your power isn't matching your money, your money's not matching your power, your money is not matching the results of the women inside your world already. Like, we've already experienced that. You went through 2025 like that. Like, let's fucking kick it up to another level and have that be easier, right? There's so much on the internet about growing your business, and it's actually just more work and harder. And I've like never been about that life. So it's a super dialed in session. You get to choose between a 60-minute call or a week in Telegram together. So sorry, my phone just rang. So anyhow, normally that is not available. And the access point into my brand is the Effortless Flow Intensive, which is 2222. So this is your opportunity for more support at the price of $11.11. So definitely jump in. Door number 2 is for the revolution. You are able to save $555 with code Golden Door 555 when you join us inside the revolution. You are also able to leverage credits that you have, which will be from Magnify, Manifest, Receive, anything you've purchased in the past 30 days, Overflow, and the Secret Money membership. Of course, you can just jump in straight with that code. And the revolution is going to be for you being supported with individually tuned mentorship, and of course, the full Feminine Business and Limitless Wealth Creation product suite in order to scale Relax Millions your way, which is always so important in my world. And then door number 3 is going to be my highest touch mastermind Fempire. That's going to be for you if you're desiring to scale 20K to 100K months with the leading energy of ease. And that is going to also, you will get everything inside the revolution. You'll get everything inside Secret Money, but it also has Telegram with me Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We have our own calls separately. You have a specific content portal as well for scaling 20K to 100K months, and then a feminine healing and receiving portal. And it's just a fucking vibe. The results in all my spaces continue to be profound. And oh my gosh, there's just so much coming online where I just really feel like so many of us are ready for these like deeper levels of activation and really ready to carve out our own space in the industry in ways that like, yeah, we've been doing, but there's just like another level of available. Like I feel that energy so strongly. I feel women waking up at new, like we've all been waking up. We've been waking up for years, but just like another level. And I just love to help you like bring that inside your company and make that profitable inside your company instead of like having these big like feelings and all these things on the inside, and then it's like, okay, but like how do I bring this forward and how do I scale this and like how do I monetize this with more ease and at a new level than I've ever done before. So I am able to support you with that, and you get to choose between door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. All the links are in episode notes. If you have any questions at all, please email assistant@jocelynkellyreid.com, or you can go ahead and shoot me a DM. And then I also want to remind you that you are able to rate and review the podcast. DM your screenshot to me or email it to assistant@jocelynkellyreid.com, and that will allow you to save $200 off any offer inside the company. This does not include the Secret Money membership, and this does not include anything that is like private work with me. So I love you so much, and just let me know if you have any questions. And thanks as always for tuning into the show. Hey babes, how are you? I'm back. Oh my God. It is so interesting being on the internet. I don't think I'm probably not the only one who would be like kind of okay to retire from Instagram. I really like it because I really like being able to like talk to you guys directly, and it's really powerful for that. And I think stories are fun. And of course, like I've been, marketing my business on Instagram for nearly 6 years now. It's just sort of part of something that I'm used to having exist in my field. However, something that is so interesting to me, and I'm an opinionated person, and so I definitely appreciate that we all want to have strong opinions. Like if you're not saying anything, you're not saying anything, right? And that's not going to be good for your business. But something that I've noticed lately, and really, it's not really about Instagram, right? Instagram just tends to showcase a strong example of something that is already there. Just because you can like click through so many things so fast, you just get like a really big dose of information at once. And the fear mongering within the online space is so intense. And I find it very interesting. And one, many people had a bit of a shaky 2025. Like it was definitely an awakening year. Let's call it that. But it was like a massive shakedown. It's like anything that is not true is going to die, right? And that's definitely still occurring. I mean, it's Scorpio season. Obviously, it's occurring. But I feel that it was more intense for more people across the board than I've ever seen it in any other year. And I have a great purview to that because I have, so many clients. So I'm getting to see everybody's individual experiences. I'm seeing my own life. And of course, we see the broader collective. And this year, it was a shakedown. And it's like, follow the truth or get dragged, literally was like the theme of 2025. And I do not think that is going anywhere. I think that that was like a start to a longer like ascension journey, both for ourselves and for the planet. And we've really had to learn like the faster you let go, the faster you will fly in so many different areas. So what that creates though is a lot of people who don't necessarily, it's like scary, right? Because you're letting go of things you've never let go of before. Your identity is changing. What you value is changing. Who you thought you were, maybe not like in your core, but these ways where it's like, oh, I thought like I would love this forever. I thought I'd want to live here forever. I thought I would want this offer forever. I thought, whatever it is, you thought you'd want these things forever, right? So, and then when it's like, obviously needs to be let go, or maybe you're drastically changing your business model, you're trying new things, like it just feels weird, especially because you've done a certain amount of personal development work and then you get to this place and you think that you're like, oh, I got this, right? And you've built your company, you've done all these different things. You're like, oh, I got this. No matter where you are with your company growth, some of you are new, some of you are further along, like whatever it is, even if you are new, you're likely at a phase of your journey where you don't feel like, oh my God, I don't know, anything about anything. Like you've done a lot of work. And so we'll feel like very grounded in these certain ways of being, ways of doing, ways of expressing, whatever it is. And then when the universe is like, oh, just kidding, that's not you anymore. And I'm going to record a whole episode about it. But one of my big things was like my decision to leave New York, which is just fucking enormous. But it needs a whole episode. We can't just like casually mention that. And for those of you who are wondering, I'm going to be moving to Charleston, South Carolina. I'm so fucking happy. Oh my God. I literally just almost started tearing up saying it. The way my body needs nature now, I cannot even tell you. Like, New York wore out. Like, it was like the best thing in the fucking world until it became my prison. And as you know, you don't pay. You know how I like to live, and like paying that in New York and then you don't feel fully fucking alive makes no sense. All I wanted to do was be like going for hiking and being outside. I was spending all my time trying to get away from noise. Like, the whole thing started to make no sense, right? But like, fuck, what a cool life I manifested there. Anyway, that'll get its whole episode. But right now, I'm in Northern California. I'm having the best time. I wanted to leave. I did not want another winter. I want sun. And it's funny because like I came to New York from LA, but LA was not it for me. Meaning, and like that was sunny. But anyways, I don't want to like live in California. I just love it. So there were some family things. My mom had surgery, and then it was the holidays, and my niece and nephew are here, my brother is here, and I love this time of year in California. I'm in the Bay Area. It's fucking gorgeous. And I was like, let me just like settle my nervous system. I go hiking every day. It's so insanely beautiful. Like, it is one of the most beautiful states. And then I will make my way to South Carolina in the new year. But I need to figure out exactly when I want to live there, because I'm having this tension of like, I'm a kitchen's wet in human design. So I like to be like near the activity, but not in the middle of it. And I also have always like fantasized about living on the beach. But I went to Charleston in September, and I was like, okay, but what's on the beach is like, it's like 10, 15 minutes in the car from downtown. And like, I don't know, I feel like I need to have like a community in there and stuff before I'm like, yes, I'm just going to go like live on a beach. You know what I mean? So I need to figure that out. But anyway, it is not high priority right now. As you can imagine, I've been there for 7 years, had a huge apartment. It took them 10 hours to pack me and move me out. All my stuff is in storage except my clothes. Anyway, whole thing. But we're going to do a separate podcast episode on that. But as you can imagine, but y'all, I'm so happy. Like, I'm so happy. It's so weird. I fucking love New York. When I see that skyline, like it like hits me in the heart. But I'm nostalgic for New York because I've had past lives there. Because I felt nostalgic about New York even while I was living there. So like some of my attachment to New York isn't actually about my present life, other than like, fuck, I grew like a close to $4 million company, having no idea that was going to happen coming in. I changed in so many ways. I am so grateful. That city fucking made me, and your girl can handle anything. That is for damn sure. However, sometimes you get to your peace era, and I entered my peace era, and I was like, if I don't have nature, my body is going to like collapse. That's literally like the point we had gotten to. But yeah, and I've just had past lives there. It's so obvious. Like, it like hurts my heart when I see the skyline, So some of it is just, I'm that way about Paris, and I spend no time in Paris. Like, it's just a soul memory. So I'm always going to have that attachment to New York, and like, fuck, Brooklyn, you are a real one. And I'm so happy I named my dog Brooklyn so it can be with me always. Oh, so much to share. Okay. But I could go on and on. So I'm going to come back on the New York conversation. But anyhow, so that was huge. That was huge for me, right? Because y'all know how big of a part of my identity it's been. And like, it's the most at home I had ever felt anywhere, living anywhere, other than like in college in Philly. I was like very connected to my people there. I loved Philly. I loved Penn. Like, that was a fucking vibe. And then, of course, like after school, I felt at home in the Bay Area, because I'm from the Bay Area, and I lived in San Francisco for 7 years before I moved to LA. But it wasn't like it was so hardcore, like, oh my God, this is my place. It was more just like, this is familiar. And I was just not focused on, how right after college, you're not focused on like, where is my home? You're like, I need to get a fucking job. You know what I mean? You just get the job. You kind of just go through the motions at that age. So I was more in that phase and just like having fun. But anyhow, so New York became home. So therefore, New York became part of my identity. If any of you have lived in New York, you know what I'm talking about. That city just like takes people in this very interesting way that I haven't noticed in other places, where it's like it just feels like part of your identity. I've lived in a lot of other places. So that was big, right? So I'm just using that as an example of something big that needed to fall away in my life that I had no idea it was coming. Like if you'd asked me 2 years ago, do you think you'll get like tired of this and tired of New York? I would have been like, no, my dream's to like buy the apartment I live in. And then that started to feel like a cage. Not because the apartment wasn't insane. Oh my God, I was practically kissing the ground of that floor when I walked out the door. Cause like I cannot believe I got myself to a place in life to be able to live at that fucking level. That is like 0.01% opportunity for anyone. And then especially in New York. Like this is just not even heard of, right? And it was like one of the most beautiful apartments I've ever seen. So goddamn grateful. And I am so proud of myself. So proud of myself. I was probably like the only single woman in my entire building who was actually paying for it. And like it wasn't a trust fund or like an ex-husband. Literally. So I'm just, God, it was so good. But now I want something different and I need more nourishment and I want something cozier and I want more nature. And I don't want to need to be necessarily on the 21st floor for it to be quiet, even though like that view would make you fucking cry. Like I had glass, floor to ceiling glass in across the entire apartment. It was fucking insane. So anyways, as you can imagine, releasing that was big, but it's the best decision I've made. And that's not true. Moving in was also a really good idea. But like for me presently, right? So it was like this sort of like free, but once I figured it out, it was like, oh my God, we have to right now. And I'm a very like, I'll like kind of sit with energies. And when it hits me, it's like, fuck now. And so then it was like everything turned into right now. And I was like, but I can't leave the East Coast without going to Charleston and make sure, because I know I don't want to stay in California and I'm not going to feel grounded if I don't go to the place that I'm sure that I want to be, because I've spent no time in Charleston. This hit me like a fucking divine, it was just like divine guidance, literally divine guidance. I was like just feeling like my friends had been in town and I was just like, something feels off. She was like, I think you're like bored of this. Like, I think you're done. I was like, what? Anyway, I'm going to tell the whole story later because here I go telling the whole story. Anyways, it was divine guidance. I was like, hey, and the same day where I was like, oh my God, I'm supposed to move to Charleston, my mom called me and was like, hey, do you want to go to Charleston? I was like, okay, obviously, right? So then we went to Charleston and I just felt so grounded and so good. And I got off the plane and I was like, oh, my husband is here. It just like, the moment we walked out the airport, also I was cracking the fuck up. Do you know they have valet at the airport? That airport is so small that you walk out the door and like all the cars are parked there and there's like a valet guy, as though you were just like walking out of a hotel. I was like, where are we? I love this. JFK is like, first of all, it takes you 30 minutes to get through JFK. Then you can go to like I never was driving. I was always getting a taxi or Uber. Massive parking situation. There's no like nice man outside the door who's like, ma'am, can I get your car? Like what is going on? So anyway, I wasn't even thinking like, oh, I think my husband is somewhere else. I just walked out the airport and I felt so grounded. My sun line runs through Charleston. I was like, oh, he's here. And it was just like very intense. And then I had like the best time, but I need to figure out my living situation. And also like I'm in this era, I really want to be free. This is also so different for me. Venus and Taurus, my sense of home is like a very big deal. As you can imagine, have a lot of furniture. I moved out of a very big 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom apartment. And yeah, so that's all in storage. So I don't know, but for some reason I don't feel like, okay, let me just go like immediately bring over all my shit. I'm like, I just need to like be free right now. And so probably what I'm going to do is like, I'm probably going to like Airbnb around and like just get my dose of the beach and see how I feel. And like also be in, Charleston's version of downtown, which is nothing like New York or where I lived in Brooklyn Heights is way calmer. But I just need to make sure I'm going to have space and all that stuff. Not only inside, but also outside. So anyway, So we're going to do that. And I don't know, maybe I'll like Airbnb for like 2 months or something. But you see what I mean? How I'm very like, we'll just see. Girl, this is not normal for me, but it feels so good. Sometimes I'm like, what are you doing? But then I'm like, I like it, but it's still different. It's like my home is, especially with my Venus and Taurus, like such a big part of my identity. So it's very strange that what I feel comfortable with right now is like, is more exploratory, if that makes sense. Because I've always been like, "Ooh, this is the place I'm gonna live here, and I'll like stay in that home until I go to the next one." And I don't just mean the location; I mean the actual apartment itself. And so, yeah, it's interesting. So anyhow, okay, so there's that. That's a huge example for my life or my business, right? Where I really changed my business model and I dropped so many, not that's a little dramatic. I dropped high ticket spaces that needed to go. One of them is Feminine Magic and Money is coming back, but I just want to like change the structure. But there's just less masterminds and different things like that. And I was always just selling my mid and high ticket spaces directly, which I still think is totally available. But as I shared with you guys previously, I just started to get kind of tired. I was like, I don't know, like, yeah, I make a lot of money, but like I'm just getting a little tired. Like, and how can I talk about Relax Millions and then not be feeling on the frequency that I speak about in my brand at 100%? So what I always notice first for me is like how I'm not even just like how much money are we making, like blah blah blah. You can like sell your fucking soul and make money. I mean, like how am I feeling, and I was like, I'm just feeling this like slight strain and like this needs to change, right? And so that's how I started building out my first quantum sales pathway, because I wanted coming into my world and ascending through my world to be an experience that didn't always require me. And I'm so fucking happy that I've done this. There's a whole episode about it, a couple ones before this. So anyway, but it was still a big deal because it felt so different. And my experience, for example, of more systematized sales system, although I made it frequency coded, mine's juicy and sexy and fun, like I've chatted with you about. I'm so excited for those of you who are working with me on this and who are going to. It'll change your fucking life. And I'm seeing spiritual women finally fucking understand that just get on the internet and make money is gonna start to wear you out. And you can still do that. I still do that, but God, does it feel good to just have money coming to you automatically. And ads alone won't do this. If you want to even be someone who's successful with ads, we've got to get all these other pieces together. And that is where I came in. Ads is just bringing more people to the ecosystem. But if the ecosystem isn't fucking hot, meaning the low ticket offer itself, your sales pages, your email sequence, all the different touch points, if it doesn't feel like yum for your people, it's not going to work. So then you're going to burn through money doing ads. And a lot of people don't hire an ads manager at the right time. Like they think their ads manager is going to be able to answer all of these things, and they're not going to be able to. You want to have done this first. I have so much to say about ads. I fucking love ads. I'm having the best time. I have great conversions, great return on ad spend. But like my ads manager can't do that for me. I had to have like I have insane click rates. We have such high conversions, like all the different things. But it's like, but I'm the one, right, who had to create the mastery over the creative and the copy and the taglines and the email sequence and the low ticket sales page and the mid ticket sales page, and how we were also upselling into other spaces in my world at the same time, and like really taking people on this like insatiable yum buying experience, right? That's how I think about it. I don't think about it as like the way we're taught about it in like bro marketing, or it just sounds so fucking cut, dry, and tiring. And all of us who are energetically based are like, I fucking can't, right? I'm like, no, I'm creating this like insatiable yum buying experience, right? Like it's gonna feel good, because this shit won't work if it doesn't feel good to me, if it doesn't feel like me, if my people can't feel me as they go through it. It will not work. It just will not work when we are not like hyper logical. Like, haven't most of the funnels you've been in been awful, So that's why I teach it in this frequency coded way. Every single aspect that is available to you inside Enchanted Sales. And it's just, the results have been profound. Marina's coming on the podcast, but like she just made $45,000 off her first low ticket offer. And now we've like baked in her quantum sales pathway. And she literally teaches, women who've experienced toxic relationships how to receive. This isn't one of these like, you're a business coach, blah, blah, fucking blah. She's not doing that at all. Right. And it's like, and it's just so beautiful. Okay, but anyways, like all of these things were a change, right? I had a lot of mastery over organic sales. And then, even though I had mastery over it, I had to create deeper mastery if I ever wanted this ecosystem to work. And then I had to create more mastery to then move it through the ad space, which has honestly it's been so worthwhile, but it just felt fucking different. And the universe was moving me towards something different. And then because, I'm a 3-5 in human design, even in my numerology, like I am a soul one, I walk first, right? So I'm never going to be like, I'm always going to have to be someone who figures out the way for the women who are more similar to me, where a lot of the strategies, the way that they're taught, we don't easily receive them. Our system kind of rejects them, or it feels like our depth goes to die. Where instead, like I always talk about, we want your depth creating your demand, right? So I create a system where my depth actually creates my demand. And then I just basically funnelized it, right? And made it live on forever in all of these different touch points in my quantum sales pathway. So I know what's going to happen. Like so many, if y'all haven't figured it out before, you're going to start to figure it out that like you needing to always show up to make money is not, especially with how Instagram is just, not always working where, people, not as many people are seeing your things, right? And that's fine. We don't need to like make that a problem or freak out. And good God, please don't start going to try to go viral. It's just that like, we're like, okay, that's fine. That's how Instagram is working. That's okay. But like, what else do I want to be doing? Because it's just so easy to get people into low ticket and free spaces. And also everything's already done. You don't even have to teach anything new. My low ticket offer I pulled from my existing product suite. Like this is just so much easier than y'all are making it. Or you might want to create something new, right? But we don't want to be random about it. We want to make sure that you're really setting yourself up for conversions into the higher ticket spaces. And that's where I see people kind of, go a little sideways with this. But anyhow, it all felt different. But in all that difference, right, to get to the success that we want, like we have to have an enormous amount of personal power, because you're going to be doing things and you're going to watch other people on the internet doing something totally different to what you want to do. And maybe the place that you're going in your business feels newer to you. So you're not as solid in that, like that you get the results, that it works, blah, blah, blah. Like I didn't fucking know. I was like, I'm putting all this time into this and now it's been insane. It added 20K a month, 20K a month that I don't lift a fucking finger for to my income. Insane. But I didn't know when I created this, what I'm calling the seduction sequence email funnel. I didn't fucking know for sure, but I just like know what I knew to be true. And then we had a 33% conversion rate into my 11/11 offer. What? Unheard of. Then we had people, cross-selling to other spaces, upselling to my masterminds, like blah, blah, blah. So I've had insane results, but like, while I was building all this, do you think that I was 100% sure? Of course not. But like, I knew that I had to. And then at the same time, I was being called to leave New York. And I was just like, oh my fucking God, universe, what else do you want? But it's like moving me into deeper alignment. It's moving me into a business that can function without me, other than me being the face of the brand and supporting my clients who are in proximity spaces, meaning like my masterminds, or of course, when I do Q&A for my programs. And then within Secret Money, you always get access to like my riffs and all the real-time things that I teach in there, in addition to the product suite. Ooh, and our quarterly hot seat coaching calls coming up early in December, right? But it's like the rest of the business is just running without me. And I knew I wanted that, but like creating that felt, and there's so many pieces. Please do not think that I'm like, 90 days in debt. Guys, this takes years to build, years, right? Different level of optimization of team. How do we make that happen on social media? Especially because like I'm going to be always writing my own stuff. I don't want someone like acting as my voice. Who knows what it'll be like in 10 years, but right now. So anyways, it was a big kind of like restructuring, and I'm not done, but like adding that pathway to my business and just, oh my Lord, having that money fucking drop that shit you weren't even selling. You put in the work once, make money forever. I'm like, sign me up all day long, right? So there will be way more of that coming. But all of it takes a level of, it's not that it's so hard, but because I'm this one who goes first for my people, it's like I have to do it. Then I've got to like systematize it to teach it to you. And then I want to make sure you understand the psychological reasons why, the strategic reasons why, the energetic reasons why, like what is making this all work at every single little point on the channel down to every single email. So then you have the intel that you need to be like, okay. Like, of course, you can do things exactly how I did, but that's not required. I'm always saying like individually attuned, but you have the actual intel because I'm always talking about building your brain and not doing monkey see, monkey do. So you can make really informed decisions for yourself. And then, of course, I will support you and give you very honest feedback on everything and like why, we might want to make some shifts or it's fucking perfect. And like, I do this with my clients all the time and Fempire and the Revolution. And like, we always get there. That's what's so fucking cool. We always get there, like I just remember going over everything with Marina and then 40, and she would bring things to me a few times and like, she would finally fucking get there. And then 45K in under 2 weeks off an $11 offer, like fucking vibes. Or like my client Dina and Fempire, same thing. And it's like, hey, we're just going to make these refinements. And just, God, watching her sell her Black Friday offers and everything in her ads. And like, she was profitable in ads from day fucking one instead of what most people experience day one, because, we're really dialing in on her creative, her messaging, her sales pages, her sequence, like all the different things. And again, she's a love and relationship mentor who's extremely energetically attuned. Her work is very uncommon. And it was like, hey, how are we going to make you sing, your framework sing, and for people to really understand why they literally just can't not be in these spaces. And her shit is fucking popping. Like when she came into my world, she's at 10K months. Then we went to 20K months. She's just had a 20K week. Like, y'all, we're always going to get there. The only question is, have you hired me or not? But anyhow, okay, so all of this can be, especially if you're not being well supported, like you might feel a little like destabilized while you're kind of like shifting in these new directions that are ultimately gonna have you fucking like kissing the ground, right? Being so goddamn grateful once this stuff is done, but it'll feel a little stabilizing. So whenever there's big energies of change like that, back to my main point when I started 26 minutes later, there is also, it comes with like, it's almost like, I don't know. I know that the people mean to be helpful, but it starts feeling like preying on people's wobbly ground. So where this all started is, I'm not blaming this person at all. She's very well-meaning, but I was like, are you fucking kidding? Like, this is exactly why sometimes Instagram just feels like too much. She basically was like, whatever, she had this podcast episode. She was like, you must listen to it or your social media presence in 2026 will be non-existent. I was like, girl, shut the fuck up. Like, sorry, that sounds rude, but honestly, like people respond to that because people are so quick to outsource their power. And I know what she meant. And then I was like, well, let me give her a chance and let me actually listen to what she had to say. Because it's basically like, you need to do this 4 things or like your business won't exist. And I'm like, anytime y'all hear any extremes like that, you need to like double check. Can we just do a quick double check? Nothing is black and white like that. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And it's not even about those people, or her. It's just about just that energy. I was like, here's the matrix on the internet. And also this is someone, we are just not similar at all. Like hyper strategic, no energetics, like what I call like the girl boss side of the internet, where I'm just not like that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, your girl's type A. Yeah, I'm going to get my shit done. But like everything for me is just, it's like frequency first, like backed by the strategies. And it's always this weave of strategy and energy, but like I'm a channel, anyhow. But I'm strategic. So it's like this funny thing where I'm like, I fucking love systems and strategy and all these things, but like I communicate like a channel. So that's just like my combo. So anyway, I already know to ignore shit that is like too a little too dense, too 3D. It's like I'm always gonna have to like find my way and then like teach it to my people. Because, you know, we a little bit different, but we want the results of people who do know how to be highly strategic, right? So we get to have both. Anyway, I listened to it. And I was like, okay, like I hear this, but this is like what you said was like a little fucking dramatic. Like your people are not going to be non-existent. Like basically the vibe was like, you know, obviously organic reach is down. Like nobody needs to fucking argue about that unless you are extremely interest based, right? Like the way, I mean, that's just sort of like what TikTok and Instagram reward is like very interest based. So like you're like the girl who's always doing the astrological update, right? Like you're always talking about human design, you're always talking about money, you're always talking about one thing because people have started to consume in certain corners of the internet, almost like it's like a news feed. But I'm like, okay, yes, that can be very beneficial for engagement. Have I ever seen it relate to more sales? No, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, we really need to break down this whole thing. I know people are getting fucking millions of views, all this stuff, who make less money than I do. Like, it does not matter. The structure of your business matters so much more than how much engagement you're creating. And when that engagement and higher levels of visibility will serve you is when your pathways are really fucking working for you. You don't need a million people engaging on a post when what you're selling is 2 high ticket offers. Like it doesn't even make any sense. What we need to figure out is like, all right, cool. Where can we add money for you passively? Right? Because you can't even take all these people in these high ticket offers. So like, what are we doing here? Like, let's build the system before we worry about the volume. And also you can just bypass all this drama and like run ads. You know what I mean? So which also grow your audience like at the same time. But anyway, there's only one way. So basically what they were saying is like that because organic reach is down, what was actually kind of interesting was that like apparently Facebook, people using Facebook is up in the age ranges because like, you know, the Gen Zs are like not interested in Facebook, right? That kind of like quote unquote ended with the millennials. But anyways, apparently more people in their 30s and 40s are like back on Facebook. And I was like, okay, that is interesting. And I also just think it's because everybody's getting a little tired on Instagram, you know, because it's just like you're kind of like inundated, and Facebook, just the pace of it doesn't feel quite so intense, you know, and you can write longer form content and you don't have to like film a dog and pony show for a high performing reel, although you can just do talking heads. But you know what I mean? Like Instagram rewards can reward, and there's no rules again, but like high levels of artistry, you know? And you don't have to do that. Like you get to do whatever you want. I still do whatever I want. My point is like my message is hitting my people and we're moving on, but I'm not only relying on Instagram to grow my business. Actually, now I checked, I have 50% of my income is coming through email, which is something else I decided to focus on. Cause I was like, I don't own my Instagram. I own my email list. Let's like get to work. So anyhow, okay. So whenever people are feeling like wobbly or like the industry is changing or whatever it is, that creates this opportunity for people to come in and be like, if you don't do what I say, you will not make money, blah, 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 blah. Like it's almost sort of like, the levels of fear that were in the air in 2020. It's like people started like outsourcing their power to the government, right? Because they were made to be so afraid that it was like, you tell me the answers. I'm feeling, and it's so funny because I sort of felt like that when I saw that communication on that podcast episode, even though like I'm sure they didn't mean it that way. It's just representative of the energy, not the person who said it. Like she's, I'm sure, very harmless. But I also was feeling this energy that was like very similar to 2020. I was like, I have this feeling like I felt when I started my business. Like, what is this? Anyways, I'll dive more into that later. But it feels like a sort of like resurgence of like that type of energy. And so like, I was like, okay, it feels like that. And I was like, oh my God, people are going to get so afraid and they're going to feel so constricted in their businesses and they're going to get fucking stuck, or they're going to think they have to do things one way. And this is just like not how we make decisions. Okay. So basically it was like Facebook traffic is up, users are up. It's like, okay, cool. If you want to be on Facebook, like go be on Facebook. Okay. So whenever that happens, like people will kind of like get into this like savior energy. I have know what I'm doing, get so afraid. Or they'll double in this. I'm talking about like when things are really changing within us, changing within the planet, changing in the industry, et cetera, et cetera. or they'll double down so hard on what they know to be true that they won't be open to anything else. And then like kind of becomes a problem later. I've seen people do that. I've seen people totally outsource their power and just like throw things out the window that make any sense for their business because somebody told them they had to do it another way. And then we got to like backtrack, right? Or just kind of carry this frequency of urgency or whatever it is inside the business, maybe making less money. And so that creates more of it. And then just being kind of lost and either doubling down when we need to evolve or just throwing the baby out with the bathwater and we need to like come back home. And maybe just the problem was, the message and nothing else, Anyway, so many reactions. It creates a lot of reactivity. And then it also creates people who have a strong sense of what they're doing. And some of them will come in with this like fear mongering energy, which is to me very different than soul truth. They feel very different. So strong opinions are good. Strong perspectives are good. I have them all the live long fucking day. Some you may agree with, some you don't. You're not required to agree with everything that I say, even in learning from me. Like that's not what we're doing here. We're doing co-creation. So some things you're gonna be like, fuck, yes, that's true. Some things you're gonna be like resistant to. You're gonna think, fuck, yes, it's true later. Some things you're like, hey, like I get the principle of it, but it looks this way that's different for me. Some things you don't agree with. Whatever it is, mentorship is always to me about and learning from each other about a co-creation. Some things you get to respond to and find your truth. Sometimes it's your straight truth out the gates. This isn't a fucking cult. Like, let us remind ourselves we're not looking for a cult leader. We are actually looking to walk with other humans. People like invest in the internet like they're looking for a fucking cult leader and then get surprised why, things go a little sideways. So anyhow, I was like, this is just full of stuff. Okay, so it was like, so get back on Facebook because like traffic is up. I was like, okay, yes, traffic is up. I like Facebook. Like sometimes, I like writing longer form content. I like that it doesn't need to be like so designed the way, Instagram just takes more time, right? Other than like, I like to just get up, do a talking head reel, put some captions on it and put it down. Honestly, that's my favorite kind of content to create these days. Or for my carousels, I'll just take pictures from me, my life, and I like basically adding my text through stories, right? And then posting that way. Whereas like, how previously we would do like everything in Canva, like my Canva era is like done. Canva era is done. So I'm always going to take like the fastest route. And let's be real, my strongest communication is through my voice anyway. Like I may as well just mostly do talking head reels. Like that just makes no sense for my brand. Of course, there will be these sharing life moments, visual moments. I don't really use my Instagram as like a visual life diary in that way. I will in stories, but meaning on my grid. But obviously people love it when I do. And there's opportunity there. But this is where, my team is evolving. Like I need more space. I need more space for more creativity on the organic content production, if that's where I want to put it. But I also, a lot of my brain power is being taken up with optimizing my systems and, the passive side of my business and mentoring my clients who are either, adding certain things like I have or fucking not. That's the other thing that's so cool. I can be like, I really want to do this for my business. I have clients who don't do that at all. And we still are getting them great results. Again, stop looking for a fucking cult leader. Okay. So anyhow, yeah. And I was like, this is so interesting. Okay. And I was like, yeah, but some people really don't want to be on Facebook. And even though fucking traffic is up, like it won't work because they don't want to. So who the fuck cares? And like maybe instead, it doesn't matter that organic reach is down on Instagram. First of all, you could run like literally $1, $2 a day visibility ads if you desire to, just to keep you top of mind so more people are seeing you. You can also just, if it is really important to you to have high engagement on Instagram, you can also just focus. Like it was important to me to make more money through email. So I just focused on getting better email marketing, right? And it was really important to me to have these like passive sales in my business. So I just focused on doing that. If it's really important to you to have more engagement on Instagram, then focus on creating that. But I just don't think you should live and die by it because I've never seen it have anything to do directly with income other than if your entire business is like a $25 a month membership and there are people for who that exists. Yeah, you need a shit ton of people. So get to work on your visibility. But for most of you, that's not actually what you're building, right? And I just think the truth is always louder than anything else. And like, I love, I have so many different styles of like frameworks, and I don't mean like content scripts, right? But like what we need to take into account when we're sharing a message, for example, for Instagram, that is going to bring people to our inbox, that is going to convert. But I don't think about it through the lens of engagement. I think about it through the lens of like fucking piercing souls with truth and people are in, you know? There's so many of those things that I value, but I just don't, for me, high engagement is not one of them. Like I never cared. I never was focused on my audience size. I was never focused on anything. And I was making money faster than 99.9% of the internet. I was like, isn't that what is supposed to be happening here? It's a company, right? And then these other things will come over time. I was like, my visibility will just grow. Like my reach will just grow. Things will just grow. But I can't master everything at once. So you need to master what is actually important, not for your fucking ego, but for the success of your company. And I can tell you sure as shit, me mastering email marketing was a lot more important than me getting engagement up on Instagram. Like literally. Especially because I didn't change, the algorithm did. That has nothing to do with the potency of my work. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I'm not going to be like fucking dancing around town for Mark Zuckerberg, even though I really appreciate his platform, but I'm just going to be doing things my way. And you might be like, Jocelyn, it is so important to me that my Instagram is like popping off at all times, and fucking cool. Then let's go for it. Again, stop looking for a cult leader. We can do different things, right? And you can like still be focused in different areas and be supported. So, but like I just have so many clients. I'm like, it's so wild. Like the amount of money I've seen clients make where they don't necessarily have high engagement, but their messaging is so fucking precise. And remember too, sometimes that's what happens because you're not speaking to the masses. You're speaking to the people who are going to pay for your work. You're not speaking to like every Tom, Dick, and Harry who's going to be like, amen. You know what I mean? It's very visibility content, and like content that is going to quote unquote convert are two different things. And you can also create both. That's the thing. So, you know, we don't have to live in one area or the other, but I'm just like, okay, y'all, well, I have clients having 20 likes on an Instagram post having 6-figure months. Like, which way do you want it, right? It's like, I've had 12 likes on a post in a 40K day. Like, I'm not going to be, it just is not that important to me. So anyhow, moving it along. Okay. But since organic reach is down, does that mean we all need to like run to Facebook and be like, that's going to save my life? No. And I think there's people, I certainly have clients where I'm like, yeah, she just doesn't like Facebook. Who the fuck cares? And then don't do it. There's so many other ways we can continue to grow your business and grow your reach if that is important to you. And then for the people who are like, you know what, I do really well on Facebook. I want to be able to storytell more. I want longer form content. I maybe want to have a Facebook group that's really calling to you again. Then let's fucking go for it. But there's no rule where it's like people are back on Facebook, then that means that you got to get back on Facebook or your business won't grow. Like that's what I don't like, is the fear mongering instead of just sharing of information. I do think it's very interesting that I don't remember the stats. It was either between I think it was like from 2023 to 2024, 2024 to 2025, whatever it was, literally like double the number of users on Facebook. But I think like Instagram is just making people tired is what's going on. I don't know why. But again, that might be relevant information to you or not. Or remember, if you decide to run any type of ads, lead gen, to your low ticket offers, visibility, whatever it is, you might be like, okay, well, your ads will run on Facebook because they're going to run on Facebook and Instagram. So, you know, there's that too. Or you can just be like, I don't care. I'm not interested in Facebook. And maybe like you like doing talking head reels like me. Well, maybe let's just also expand to TikTok. I have clients who do so well on TikTok, and TikTok does a lot less harvesting of its audience than Instagram does, because let's face it, that is how Instagram is designed now. Meaning by the powers that be. So anyhow, that was one thing. Another thing was like that it is now 100% required that you have low ticket products feeding into funnels, feeding into your higher ticket spaces. I say that I would recommend it. I say that it'll make your life easier. I say if you can put in money once and make money forever, why the fuck wouldn't you? But is it absolutely required or nobody's going to pay you? No. I have clients who all their whole business is high ticket sales still. And they have maybe they don't have like that very specific direct pathway. They have, you know, lower ticket options, but I wouldn't say that it's built out where they're specifically designed to sell the high ticket offer. They all will have an email sequence, like blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't call it a buttoned up ecosystem, I would just say low ticket offers exist and they mostly sell high ticket and they sell high ticket straight from their content. Guys, this hasn't gone anywhere. You're still able to do that. But what I say, will it change your life if you consider creating an actual pathway for yourself that works? It's not just putting the things in place, but it's making it frequency coded and having it work. Yeah, of course it's going to change your life. So I'm like, why wouldn't you? But you don't need to be afraid that your other spaces are not going to sell when you sell them directly. And I get the point of like, well, people are saying, well, the other spaces used to sell so much more easily standalone because it was easier. You had more visibility on Instagram. Now, so much of your audience isn't seeing that shit, isn't seeing your stuff. So do they even know? And then not only do they even know, are they then, getting the repetition involved that is sometimes required for, a good number of people to buy. So Instagram, since it's harvesting everyone and like doing this on purpose so that you'll pay. And even when you pay, it doesn't increase your organic reach, right? Instagram is just, I don't know, it's a harvester. It's like designed to force you to perform in a way that other platforms like don't as much. So, I mean, also guys, like I have people making money on Substack. There's just so many things you could be doing. So, but I also just, I don't know, I like Instagram for certain reasons, but I understand the energetic of the beast, and that's just sort of how it is. But anyhow, so the argument is like, well, since traffic is down on Instagram, then you basically have to run ads into these low ticket and free spaces to send people up your offer suite because you can't get the visibility otherwise, or you have to be on Instagram because you're not gonna be able to get the visibility otherwise, blah, blah, blah. And I just don't think that part is fully true. Like, I mean, I get it logically, but I still have people doing very well just directly selling their high ticket spaces, even with visibility being down. I also think if you have a fucking personality and you say what you really mean, for high ticket sales, you don't need a lot of people, right? So it's not a volume game. So when you're like very fucking truthful and you have deep mastery over your frameworks and you're bringing your, what I've been calling your signature edge, your je ne sais quoi, this like really sexy combination of like what you do, how you do it, who you do it for, and who you are, all like baked in together in a way that of course is valuable to your people, then yeah, you're always gonna have your people who are paying attention to you. So it's not that hard with your marketing mastery to keep your spaces full because you don't need that many running high ticket spaces. You can have 20 high ticket clients in your business at once and be having fucking 50K months. You know what I'm saying? So it depends again on what kind of model that you want. Do I think you're gonna have a hard time though with certain offer models if they're scattered? Yeah, but nothing about the industry that's always been fucking true, right? I'm like, that's just true. I've been mentoring people for almost 6 years. Like that part, structural issues and where the market is doesn't fucking matter. They're just always there. So anyway, I think that it's amazing to have this low ticket pathway. Do I think it's absolutely required? No. Do I think you'll have an easier time? Yes. Do I think that you need to want it yourself and be willing to put in the quote unquote work and get support and get help, which obviously I'm here for? Yeah. Do I think that if you can call yourself to that, even though you're not used to it, so that you actually get to have experience of what it's like to receive on the other side and be like, what? You'll be like, why did I wait so long? You will literally wonder why you waited so long, and you'll actually understand if you've tried to do this before why it didn't work instead of feeling defeated. Yeah, I think you're gonna love that experience, but it also like you need to want it, and I don't think that it means you won't make money if you don't have it. And then what were the other things? I think there was something because everyone tells you have to do in-person events. Okay, this is the one where I'm like, okay, biggest load of shit of all time. First of all, again, do you want to? If you want to, girl, run. But like taking something like that on because you think you have to is the worst fucking idea. Because if you don't have so much conviction around it, so much energy around it, so much, oh my God, I have to do this, you will burn through fucking money. You will be exhausted. It will not go well. However, if you're like, no, I really want to spend in-person time with people, this is part of my soul's mission, then yes, go for it because you're going to have the energy to see it all the way through. But is it a make or break for how much money you make? God, no. Is it an opportunity to make a lot of money? Yes, but you shouldn't be doing things just because they're an opportunity to make a lot of money. You should be doing them because you want to, because it feels right for you and it feels right for your people. oh, or maybe you want to do like, I've done like very intimate events and I really liked that. Not anytime recently. I think it was like in 2023. I did these like brunches and dinners and stuff like that in New York. That was really fun. But I'm not I would speak, but I don't see myself putting on like a 200-person event. That does like nothing for me. And you need to be able to like properly monetize them. Although I've seen ones where they're not really necessarily selling do very well. But either way, if it's for you or not. If it's something you want to do or not. If it's something you want to do, but you're overwhelmed or you're like, well, how would I command 200 people right now? Yada, yada, yada. Start small. Just start small. Or maybe you want to do like these higher end luxe events or just kind of like smaller retreats, not necessarily like huge events. Fucking go for it. Just make sure you're at a place in your business where you're not going to be like just fucking breaking even and that you really have a strategy in place for how to make money on the back end, because the people who are like, oh, I don't sell at my events, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, guess what? They're making so much fucking money. They don't really need to. Or you can just trust if you deliver a great experience that yes, people will want to continue on in your other spaces. But I don't think that you need to make yourself a quote unquote bad person for selling at your event, especially when your business is in a place where that's what we should be doing. So anyhow, but that's another one where I'm like, what are you talking about? I know people having fucking $600,000 months who've never done an event in their life. Like, this is not required. But I think that if they're for you, it's really like that you should go for it. And I think that being in person is amazing. I just don't think it's required. And there are some people who are like, I'd rather die than go to an event. I would rather die than host an event. And there's nothing wrong with you. Just like if you're here and you're like, Jocelyn, I want to be fucking Tony Robbins one day. That is amazing too. But that it's required? No. Like, that's ridiculous. And then the other one, which I get it, but I'm like, this isn't required, was that basically sales calls are back. And I was like, maybe people just don't know how to market their work. So now sales calls have become required. And it was never about the sales call. It was just about the ability to market the work. And like, we came out of a boom space where people didn't actually really need to know how to market and sell. And now they're finding out they need to. And they don't really know enough about their audience. And sales calls give you the opportunity to learn a lot more about people. And of course, you're going to close more sales in theory if you do them. But do you want to? I'm never doing that. Like, that's just, I did in the beginning of my business and it was great. But I was like, I don't need these. Like 90% of them close anyways. And then nothing changed when I took them away. Now, I've had people who are earlier in business who haven't been known for as long for these certain high ticket spaces, who aren't really fully clear on what their audience is coming up against and making the investment. Like, they just don't have enough intel to where the marketing can be very precise. Then I would recommend doing them rather than sitting around for a year being like, why is no one buying these spaces? Because you also need to understand your audience, right, in order to create that level of precision in your messaging that will move them forward. So if you don't actually know why they're not buying this offer, if you can't like see that woman, see that human, and just fucking know them inside and out, then like you're gonna have a hard time, even with the quote unquote sexiest framework, really communicating to their heart. And so then sales calls are really valuable because you just get to know your audience so fast, and they're easy to convert on. So, but that they're required? No. Are you going to see people doing them, and especially really big businesses where they kind of hire people to do them for them, make a shit ton of money? Absolutely. But again, you can do anything to make a shit ton of money, but do you want to? Or are you like, I maybe want to ride that wave? People have been burned. They want to chat with someone. Cool. But are you going to be so exhausted if you do them that you can't grow the rest of your business? Or are you in a space where like, let's just get your high ticket spaces full? If you don't know enough about your audience yet, maybe you're quite early and we don't actually have the intel to really bring that precision to your audience. And yeah, I would recommend that you do them. But again, this like, oh, you have to do them to make money. No, it's almost like the fucking industrial complex of the coaching industry where these big thing goes in waves and everybody tells you have to do it. And then there's a big wave and if you do it, you will make money. But then then there's a new big wave. And if you follow that, sure, you make money. But it's like, are you always going to be someone who fucking changes because of how someone made money for 1 minute and then you need to follow them again? Like, I can't imagine doing that. I think that there's certain things that come into come online where I'm like, fuck yeah, I like that. Like, I love private podcasts. I love having one. I'm developing another one. I love learning that way. That style of delivery for me is like fucking chef's kiss. If I buy from you and you have a private podcast, I'm like, oh, vibes. But some offers are not built that way. So that's something where I'm like, I really like that. I'm going to take that on board. But if that was absolutely not correct for me, and maybe I was someone who's supposed to be on Substack or something instead, I wouldn't be like, well, I have to have a private podcast. I'm going to go do it because everybody else is doing it. Because if that wouldn't be true for me. So do you see how we get to understand? I think it's really helpful to understand when people are saying you must do this, blah, 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 instead of you fucking running like a follower, which is not what you are here to be, or doubting yourself because of what's aligned for you. Can you understand? Just look at, well, why are they saying that? And lots of times the people are telling you have to do things. That's because that's what they teach. But I can't tell you the number of people who are like, you have to do in-person events. And then they fucking burn their business down and don't even do them anymore. The number, you have to have this like big YouTube following. And then you find out they burnt the fuck out and had to retire from their business for a year and come back and tell you it was awful. Like, don't believe, you don't have to fucking do anything, right? But what we need to get to is what is going to be aligned for you in this season and understand it can evolve. And so I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to see a lot more fear mongering on the internet. It is not fucking going anywhere. And so you need to have the fortitude within yourself to be able to discern what is for you, what is not for you, to not become someone who looks for a cult leader, calling them a coach, who you now outsource all your power to, but instead look for people who you can co-create with, which is what I stand for. Like, you don't need to run your business like me, or you can run your business exactly like me. Either way, we're fucking golden. Like, let's go. I don't care. You know, like, it's your business, not mine. My job is to guide you for what you tell me that you want. You tell me what you want, and then we will be energetically and strategically tuning in specifically for you to get you there. That is how I do things. I do not think my way is superior. I have clients who are fucking phenomenal at things that I do not desire to do, but they're so right and so good for them. So I just really wanted to share that because when I saw that marketing of your online presence will not exist in 2026 unless you do this, I was like, you know, here we fucking go. Here's a little window into 2026 on Instagram. And I don't want you to start feeling defeated or be like, I hate Instagram. Like, remember, it's all it is a marketing tool. That means one marketing tool to grow your business. You were never here to grow an Instagram business. You were always here to grow a business, and Instagram is a marketing tool. I will tell you all the live long day for those of you guys who do high ticket sales. And you're seeing organic reaches down, blah, blah, blah. Guess what else you own? Your podcast, your long form content. It is like, I'm telling you that it's not about attention is the greatest currency. Connection is, especially if you do high ticket sales. So people being able to feel you so quickly, learn about you so quickly, just vibe with you. It's like, the difference between becoming friends with someone by meeting them in person versus like texting with someone you don't know, right? Which is sometimes what Instagram feels like, versus you can like someone on Instagram and then listen because they're just good at writing content, and then listen to their show and be like, you just hear the vibration of their voice and you're like, no, it's not for me, right? Or someone can be sort of okay on Instagram and then you hear them on their show and you're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, this is so good. And ideally, we feel similarly off both, but like, I'm a voice communicator. So when you are a voice communicator, and it's important for high ticket sales, because I do agree that sometimes there's a longer buying journey, but your long form content is one of the ways you can collapse time on the buying journey. And then remember too, this is why like the private podcast is like one of the access points in your top of funnel, because you don't need to always create new episodes. Like, the thing that's so cool, let's say you're like, I want my top of funnel to be a private podcast. Well, we can just create like 5 episodes. Maybe they're all 30 minutes, you know, strategically create those to create a buying experience for the offer that you then sell people into. So it's not about that you have to create episode after episode after episode after episode. We use a private podcast like a product, like a low ticket product or a free product, or you can have some of both, to feed into your other spaces. So you're like, well, I like long form content, but I don't really want to do it all the time. then let's like be strategic about it and build it to feed into the next space. Do you see what I'm saying? I have clients doing this too. I do it. It works so well. I can't wait to do more. And I also have this show, but the range of conversation on this show is broader, right? Versus like, okay, we tackle one conversation over a number of episodes that are all there for you to quote unquote listen to together, that are specifically designed to quote unquote sell into the next space should that feel aligned for you. You know, it's not like a fucking just a sales machine, but you get my point. We're creating content that connects you to the next phase of the journey, should you feel ignited and should you desire to go. So that's a way where you can be like, okay, my people respond to long form. I like doing long form, but I feel a little scattered just trying to like only do it through my free show. It's like, well, let's package it up and make it particular, specific to these certain conversations that are going to drive into your next offer. So now you're leveraging that ability to connect with people really quickly without feeling like, you know, you got to be live all the time and blah, blah, blah. And then we just get people, you know, into your private podcast every day. How fucking cool is that? There's just so many options. So instead of going down this road of like this fucking do or die energy that, and I am a business coach, but sometimes the way these business coaches show up, like, and I know that I can sound like a know-it-all for sure, but I'm like, the black and white thing is just like, what are we talking about? And again, people need to have an opinion, or where the fuck are we going? Nowhere. But I just think that it's important for you not to freak out about that, and instead just keep building your brain for fucking business, and you won't get distracted, and you'll be making decisions that are good for you. And don't just buy into like one way of doing things or another, or like look for a fucking escape route because it feels a little challenging sometimes or whatever it is. It's just like, what do you want? If you hand on heart are honest with yourself about the business that you want, what is that model? What does it look like? What does it require from you? And like, let's get to work. What do you actually want to be known for? How do you actually want to present? Not all this shit you think you have to do, because I'm telling you, everything works. I've seen women wearing fucking pajamas all day having 50K months. I see women dressed to the nines getting blowouts, you know, every week making the same amount of money. Like, there's just no rules. There's just no rules. And I know there's that part of our brain that looks for safety. And so we look for safety in the rule. But the safety starts with you, and then actually being supported to create your fempire the way that you desire to create it. So, I wanted to share that with you today. I love you so much, and I will be back.